Hello YouTube, this is going to be a video on Lady Gaga, newest, newest thing she's doing, public service. And first of all, before I start this video, I want to make one thing somewhat clear. I am in no way some kind of hater or in dislike of Lady Gaga. I've said before, she's really about the only interesting musician to come out in the last 10 years. There really isn't many other people. I mean, I'm sure you could find some people, but if you look at where she's got, I mean, most of the music that's come out in the last decade has been horrible garbage. It's, pink fucking, just fucking girls in pink and big titties and fucking Kool-Aid and, fucking, like California girls and all this shit. While the world's falling apart around you, there's nothing socially or culturally conscious or relevant out there. In fact, I guess in a way you could say that much about this, but she is putting something culturally relevant out there. But again, minus that, I would like to get to the point of this video. She's putting out a video about college rape crisis. There's all these rapes in colleges. I would like to point out to you that studies, evidence, shows that the national rape statistics or the amount of rapes on college campuses are less than that of rapes in the general public. In other words, you're pointing out rape is a huge crisis. There's not even as many rapes there as there is everywhere else. But again, this is more of, hey, let's have some social justice campaign that I can stick up there and say, hey, look at this, everybody. Look at this. I'm a good person. Well, it's a bunch of fucking bullshit, is what it is. She's basically whoring herself out, and you see these celebrities do this all the time. I remember at one point she even refused to admit she was a feminist. She wouldn't even say she was a feminist, and of course, the argument they always use is one of their main arguments, and this is the stupidest shit ever, but it's like the dictionary definition of a fucking feminist is someone who fights for equality. Well, I think you need to I don't even believe in education, but I do think women need a better education in this country, because apparently you don't understand what the fuck education even means. I mean, you don't even understand what equality means. Equality is to say two people are equal, not one of them is up here, is higher than the other. And yet that seems to be what feminists basically campaign for time and time again. But back to the point of this video, I'm segregating. Their own statistics show that there's no rape crisis on rape, but then they totally ignore this. It was like, there was a magazine, I can't remember what magazine, but they had the crisis. There was a girl named Jackie, they were saying, and Jackie was supposedly raped by these gang of men. It was a college initiation, and they looked into it. The story fell apart. The supposed girl who was saying she was being raped lied about things. She was shown to have lied. She admitted lying. The story fell apart. Her evidence didn't make any sense. The guy she said was at the school was not even there. Okay, wasn't even in the campus, didn't even go there, didn't even work at the job she said he had. She lied. And then when she's approached by the person who wrote this was approached about it, she's like, well, why do you care if it's real? Why don't you just concentrate on rape? Because, you stupid bitch, it's very important. It's very fucking important in the United States of America that you know if a rape occurred. And they were making all these fucking rules and fucking it up for everyone else now that, when you could go to a party, they were trying to get rid of alcoholic beverages. You can't have parties, you can only have so many parties, all these things at these colleges, and basically fucking it up for everyone else because of a rape that never even happened. And then you still paint the woman who outright lied about being raped as being a fucking victim. And they do this all the time. They're total fucking, it's communist bullshit. They're trying to set up a police state, and they're trying to soak up your sympathy to use it as a fucking way of getting it. They did this. Obama published a guns study himself, and then covered up his own study when the evidence did not work in his favor. Their own evidence works against them. He wanted to show that we were an out-of-control, violent society. It actually showed that our violence, we're at the same rate of violent crimes in this country as we were around the 60s and 70s, the 50s and 60s. And that was not a particularly violent time, other than the civil rights and the Vietnam War. But in terms of average crime rate, we were at a low. In fact, the violence did not really skyrocket until they started trying to regulate guns in the 70s and 80s. Then you saw a rise in violent crime. You know, he wanted to show that people don't use their guns to defend themselves. It might happen a total of 8,000 times a day. And half of the violent crimes that are not self-defense related, are people killing themselves, which you could argue over whether or not that should even be illegal if somebody wants to kill themselves. Who are you to tell them they can't? So they lie. They lie about this shit. They're communist fucking assholes. They're trying to set up a Soviet-type society. They do this again and again and again. And they're bully tactics. Whenever they don't like you, they try to censor you. They don't, you know, it's not liberalism. These are not fucking liberals. All these social justice warriors, they're a fucking joke. The pay gap bullshit. There is no fucking pay gap. In fact, it showed that when women work the same amount of hours in the same time, the same career, or the same basic field of work as men, they might actually make more than the man does, rather than making less for the same work. The women who make less money usually do less work because of family and other things. You know, that's why they make less money. It has jack shit to do with they do the same work. It was a total fucking lie. They're trying to, in other words, they don't want equality. They use that as an excuse, but they lie about about them being oppressed, so then they can achieve even more rights. So what they want is superiority. And you saw this with the Black Lives Matter, the black community also. Police brutality is a huge issue in this country, but the actual rates on that is that whites are proportionate to their community. That's to say that whites get beat up as much as you would expect them. They get beat up a lot. Now, blacks are disproportionate. That means they're beat up more. But it doesn't change the fact whites are still beat up a lot, and the Mexicans are beat up, and the Asians are beat up, and all these people are beat up. But again, by police enforcement. But again, they don't care about that. They added a totally unneeded component to this to divide up the population and hold back civil rights. These are fascist fuckers. And that's the video. P666.